Hello class, in this video we're going to start to explore working within Adobe Illustrator. And what we have here is the Illustrator home menu. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a document. If we just look around this home menu, it's very similar to the Photoshop home menu. What you'll see right here, it says we're under home. There are different areas. If you wish to learn some tutorials, there is a learn area, so you could go through these if you want to uh, explore Illustrator on your own. I'm going to go back to home here. There are some presets, but I'm going to click over here on the far right to more presets. And now we get this window that opens up. Along the top, we have different options. So we do have your recent files or your save files. There's also an area for mobile, which is going to give you some different mobile settings. We also have some web settings. Notice that these are within Illustrator, these different presets are designed for different types of either uh, formats for mobile, for web, for print, film and video, and art and illustration. What I want to do, let's go under print because this is going to give us different sizes that are specifically for output. For example, I want to select letter, but notice that it has PT. This is for points. Over here on the right, under width, uh, under preset details, I'll click right here and you can see you could change the different options. You could send this to pixels and it'll change it to different pixels. I'm going to change this from pixels to inches, and you can see that it's going to change this unit of measure to inches now. The reason I'm changing inches is simply because I'm familiar working within inches. In regards to the orientation, if you either want a landscape, a portrait or landscape, you could change this as well. I'm going to go ahead and just tell this one to be in landscape format. In a moment, we're going to go over what are artboards. Currently, there's going to be one artboard. We could also create our bleed edges for our document. These are so that when we print out something, it's going to bleed, go past a certain area. We're just going to leave these set up as default. I'm going to go ahead and select create. So what we have here, I want to do another thing before we continue. But as we look around, Illustrator looks similar to Photoshop, which is really good because at the very least that means that we kind of know what to expect. For example, in the center we have our canvas, our workspace. On the far left we have our different tools. Uh, this is one thing that I want to change because you might not have this by default. But over here on the top right hand corner, mine says Essential Classics. Yours might say by default Essentials. So I want to go ahead. This is the first thing we're going to change. We're going to change our workspace. So I want to go ahead and go into Essential Classics because it's going to open up different windows, different palettes, different tools, and it's going to give us something that might be similar to. I want to make sure that we all have the same type of interface to start off with. What you could also do if you've already been working, you could always reset your format. You could reset this interface. I'm going to go back and select Reset Essential Classics just so that I know that what I have and what you have are going to be the same. So as we go back, looking at the interface, I mentioned on the far left we have our different toolbar. One thing I want to point out is that my resolution is really low, so you might notice that I have 2 rows of tools, but if you click on these little double arrows, just single click, it now puts them on 1 row. But if you look closely at the very bottom, my resolution isn't big enough to display everything, and that might be the case for you as well, especially if you're working on a laptop where your screen resolution might be smaller. I'm going to click on these little double arrows and it puts everything on 2 rows, so I'm able to see everything. So now what we also have access to up here is this option bar. It's actually called the control bar, excuse me, control bar. This is under window control. It's already turned on. And over here on the far left, we have our different panels that have different information. So what I want to do right now, we're just doing a quick tour of our interface. Uh, in Photoshop, for example, whenever we create a document, we had to create a resolution. We had to tell it what type of data structure we want. Say, for example, oftentimes we choose either, say, 8 by 10 with DPI 300, which translates that into pixels into resolution, which is something 2400 by 3000, and that would be our size. If we look closely right here, we have this rectangle, and this rectangle, this is called our artboard. This is the area that we specified for my document. I said this is going to be a letter placed in the landscape format. But what I want you to do, we're going to zoom out, and we could use the same keyboard shortcuts that we used in Photoshop. On a Mac, I'm going to press and hold down Command. On the PC, press and hold down Control. So I'm going to hold down Command or Control and press the minus button. And I'm going to keep on doing this until we go, or backing out, until you see this larger rectangle. Now, I can't see it all within my screen. I'm just moving it. I can't zoom out anymore. But you see this larger rectangle? This is our entire workspace. Maybe consider this like if we were working on a traditional, a physical canvas. This is our like little canvas, and this is all of our desktop space that we could place different items along. Within Illustrator, you're given this option where this is your entire workspace, but what is going to be printed out or saved is within this artboard. Now everything's going to be saved. I should say what's going to be outputted. If we decide to say I want to save this out as a different file format, we could tell it to either display only what's in the artboard or within your entire workspace. I just want to clarify that. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in again. I could press Command or Control plus, and I get to zoom in. I'm pressing and holding down the space bar, and I still get my little grabbing hand, so it allows me to move around within my document. I'm going to press Command 0 or Control 0. That zooms my artboard to full screen. So this is the Illustrator interface. So the good thing, since we've already been working with in Photoshop, this should be very similar. So you already know how to navigate this workspace. What we're going to be doing in the next video, we're going to start creating some basic shapes and learning some of the different tools that we're able to work with within Illustrator. So I'll see you in the next video.